and welcome to All 24 Nightly News. I'm your host, Miriam Zian, and here are the top stories for tonight. Algeria, Nigeria, and Niger reaffirm commitment to Trans-Saharan gas pipeline, paving the way for Africa's energy future. Coming up next, Hamas dismisses Trump's threats and calls for ceasefire respect as Guterres urges restraint. And head of Libya's High Council of State calls for unity and national consensus to end crisis. And in developments on the situation in Sudan, the AU calls the Sudanese conflict the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Hello and welcome again to our nightly news. First, Algerian President Mr. Abdelnajid Tebboune received on Tuesday Nigeria's Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ekpo, and Niger's Minister of Petroleum, Sani Mamadou. A statement from the Algerian presidency clarified that the meeting was attended by the Director of the Presidential Office, Boualam, Minister of State, Minister of Energy, Mines and Renewable Energies, Mohamed Arqab, as well as the CEO of Sonatrach, Rashid Hashishi. And following the reception, Niger's Minister of Petroleum, Maman Sani Mamadou, stated that the signing of the fundamental document for the gas pipeline project serves as the key instrument to advance its implementation.
We were received by the President of the Republic and we briefed him on everything we concluded this morning. We have signed the foundational document that will allow the launch of this joint project and its implementation between Algeria, Niger and Nigeria. We now have the means and the tool that will enable us to move forward, ensuring that each country is committed to contributing to the rapid implementation of this integrative project, as it is beneficial for our peoples. I congratulate Algeria for the success of this important meeting that has brought our three countries together at the table. The Trans-Saharan gas pipeline project is a project that embodies and concretizes African integration, and our meeting today is the beginning of the project's implementation on the ground. It is a very important project aimed at strengthening cooperation among us to serve our peoples.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's Minister of State for Petroleum Resources reaffirmed his country's determination to move forward with the gas pipeline project.
Today, we met within the framework of launching the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline project. The team of experts assigned to work on this file came up with decisions that were adopted by the ministers of the three countries. We agreed to move forward and decided to revive the project. With me is a representative from the oil and gas company, who will lead the working team alongside his counterparts from Algeria and Niger. And we will not back down. We had a meeting with the President of the Republic, to whom we conveyed everything that has been achieved, and he is satisfied with the result accomplished.
Algeria, Niger, and Nigeria signed several agreements on Tuesday, reaffirming their commitment to making the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline project a reality. The agreement signed on the sidelines of the fourth ministerial meeting of the Trans-Saharan Gas Pipeline Steering Committee held in Algiers include a crucial financing and coordination agreement. This agreement outlines the equal sharing of costs for updating the feasibility study among the three countries while ensuring complete transparency in payment execution. Additionally, a non-disclosure agreement was signed to guarantee the confidentiality of data and information related to the project among all participating parties.
As you have seen today, the holding of the fourth ministerial committee, the fourth meeting of the ministerial steering committee for the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline project, the Nigeria-Niger-Algeria Trans-Saharan gas pipeline, a strategic and very important project for our African countries, which translates the cooperation among African countries to access global markets for the supply of natural gas.
Energy and petroleum ministers from Algeria, Niger, and Nigeria reaffirmed their unwavering commitment to advancing the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline project. A statement from Algeria's Ministry of Energy, issued at the conclusion of the fourth ministerial meeting of the steering committee, highlighted that the ministers' renewed commitment reflects a shared vision to enhance regional integration, support economic development in Africa, and strengthen the continent's position as a key global energy supplier.
Permettez-moi de féliciter.
I congratulate Algeria for the success of this important meeting that has brought our three countries together at the table. The Trans-Saharan gas pipeline project is a project that embodies and concretizes African integration, and our meeting today is the beginning of the project's implementation on the ground. It is a very important project aimed at strengthening cooperation among us to serve our peoples.
We came in and today the task force have met from the three countries. Of course, the origin of the line is from Nigeria, which passes through Niger into Algeria. The three countries, they have met, the task force came out with recommendations which we have approved, which is an indication that the project is going to see the light of the day. So I congratulate the Algerians that this thing has come to a logical end at this point in time. I congratulate the Minister of Algeria and the Minister of Niger.
Algerian Minister of State, Minister of Energy and Mines, Mohamed Arqab, reiterated Algeria's full commitment to the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline project. In a statement or in a speech delivered at the fourth ministerial meeting of the TSGP steering committee in Algiers on Tuesday, Arqab emphasized Algeria's determination to continue working with Nigeria and Niger to achieve what he called the great African dream of establishing a new energy future for the continent.
وكذلك أكدنا إلى أشقائنا.
We have assured our brother ministers from Nigeria and Niger of Algeria's full commitment to providing all the means necessary for the success of this project, following the instructions of President Abdelmadjid Tebboune, who emphasized and affirmed Algeria's commitment to African cooperation in the economic field for greater prosperity and the realization of projects that will benefit African countries.
And still in the same context, the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline project is a strategic initiative aimed at positioning Africa as a major global energy supplier. The project represents an ambitious step towards strengthening regional integration and effectively harnessing Africa's natural resources to meet global market demands. Marwa Belaiwar has the report.
With swift progress and clear commitments signaling an alignment among the three nations, the vision for Africa's Trans-Saharan gas pipeline from Nigeria through Niger to Algeria is moving closer to reality. The meetings in Algiers concluded with agreements reaffirming a collective commitment to bringing the project to fruition, marking a significant step toward deeper African integration.
The Trans-Saharan gas pipeline, as you know, is a strategic and highly significant pipeline that connects Nigeria, Niger and Algeria, transporting approximately 20 to 30 billion cubic meters of gas per year.
حوالي 20 إلى 30 مليار متر مكعب في السنة.
The Trans-Saharan gas pipeline is set to deliver major economic benefits, leveraging Algeria's advanced infrastructure and extensive expertise in natural gas transportation. These strengthens will be key in ensuring the project's success, adhering to the highest technical standards.
This strategic project was the focus of the fourth ministerial meeting of the steering committee, where we reviewed and addressed several points outlined in the roadmap during previous meetings. Today we discussed new aspects related to the implementation of this vital Trans-Saharan gas pipeline. We have agreed upon and signed several agreements aimed at advancing and materializing this key project between Nigeria, Niger and Algeria.
والنيجر والجزائر.
This project presents a historic opportunity to serve as a driver of economic growth. However, accelerating its implementation will require overcoming technical and financial hurdles. It is a bold step toward regional integration, maximizing Africa's natural resources to meet global energy demands and fostering sustainable development across the continent.
And ahead of this meeting, a separate session brought together working teams and experts from the three countries, including representatives from their respective national oil companies. The meeting held at the International Conference Center in Western Algiers included experts and representatives from Algeria Sonatrach, Niger Sonidep, and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company. Algerian President Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune also received on Tuesday the chairman of Oman Investment Authority, Abdussalam bin Mohammed al-Murshidi, and his accompanying delegation. A statement from the Algerian presidency noted that the meeting was attended on the Algerian side by the director of the presidential office, Boualam, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Youssef Sharfa, Minister of Health, Abdelhaq Sayhi, and the Director General of the Algerian Investment Promotion Agency, Omar Rikash. On the Omani side, the meeting was attended by Minister of Agricultural Fisheries and Water Resources, Saoud bin Hamoud al-Habsi, Minister of Health, Dr. Hilal bin Ali al-Sabti, and Oman's Ambassador to Algeria, Nasser al-Badai. And following his meeting with President Tebboune, the chairman of Oman Investment Authority stated that the Algerian president is well informed on all aspects of bilateral cooperation between Algeria and Oman.
تشرفنا بمقابلة فخامة الرئيس الجزائري والذي أبدى كل ترحيبه ب
We were honored to meet His Excellency the President of Algeria, who warmly welcomed cooperation between Oman and Algeria across various sectors. His Excellency is well informed on shared files and has directed full support for joint projects. In the coming weeks and months, we hope to identify key projects, starting with food security and pharmaceuticals.
And joint Algerian Omani ministerial sessions were held on Tuesday in Algiers to implement the outcomes of President Tebboune's state visit to Oman last October. Speaking on the sidelines of his meeting with his Omani counterpart and the chairman of Oman Investment Authority, Algerian Minister of Agriculture Youssef Sharfa described the gathering as a significant step towards strengthening cooperation and investment. He revealed that major joint projects and partnerships will be activated soon, facilitated by Algeria's recent legal reforms.
We are implementing the outcomes of the President's state's visit to Oman, focusing on investment, especially in desert agriculture, which has great potential. We presented Algeria's agricultural expansion plan to our Omani counterparts, aiming for food security, particularly in the south, where fertile land and water resources are available. Joint projects between Algeria and Omani enterprises, as well as direct Omani investments, will benefit from facilitated procedures under the Algeria's new investment law.
And for his part, Oman's Minister of Agricultural, Fisheries and Water Resources, Saoud bin Hamoud al-Habsi, stated that the ministerial visit aims to explore Algeria's unique experience in agriculture and desert land reclamation and to benefit from its expertise.
زيارتنا لأشقائنا في الجزائر مع الأخ يوسف يعني
Our visit to Algeria aimed to explore its agricultural experience, particularly in land reclamation in desert areas. We see Algeria's approach as pioneering, given the similarities in terrain and climate between our countries. Oman also has desert regions with water resources, making Algeria's expertise valuable for knowledge exchange. Algeria has achieved self-sufficiency in many crops, and we commend the Minister of Agriculture and his team for their efforts in reaching this strategic goal.
Meanwhile, the Director General of the Algerian Investment Promotion Agency, Omar Rikash, emphasized the strong interest of Omani investors in launching projects in Algeria. citing the country's incentives for foreign investors. Speaking on the sidelines of a working session with the visiting Omani delegation, Rakash highlighted the openness of Omani business leaders to forming partnerships with Algerian private sector players, particularly in the automobile industry.
There is genuine interest from Omani investors in Algeria, particularly in the pharmaceutical and agri-food industries. The head of Omani's investment authority has expressed his interest, and one investor has already registered a project with the Algerian Investment Promotion Agency last week. The project involves setting up a car manufacturing plant, pending prior authorization from the Ministry of Industry. Once approved, the agency will allocate the necessary land for construction to begin.
US President Donald Trump has threatened the Islamic resistance movement Hamas with what he described as real hell if all hostages are not released by noon on Saturday. Speaking to journalists at the White House, Trump suggested that Israel should cancel the ongoing ceasefire agreement in Gaza, effective since January 19, if Hamas does not release all hostages by the upcoming Saturday noon.
Well, I would say this, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision, but as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out.
And in response, Hamas stated that threats hold no value and only serve to complicate the situation. Following Trump's remarks, Hamas official Sami Abu Zuhri told reporters that Trump must remember the ceasefire agreement, emphasizing that it should be respected by both sides, as it is the only path to the return of prisoners. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres stressed the need to avoid any resumption of hostilities in Gaza at all costs, warning of a catastrophic outcome. In a press statement on Tuesday, Guterres said both sides must fully adhere to the ceasefire agreement in Gaza and resume serious negotiations. The Palestinian Ministry of Health in Gaza reported that 92 people have been killed and 822 injured due to direct Israeli attacks since the ceasefire came into effect on January 19. In the statement, Gaza's Health Ministry Director General Munir al-Barsh said 2 people were killed by unexploded Israeli ordnance in the Strip. Al-Barsh also noted that rescue teams have recorded 641 bodies, including around 197 that remained unidentified, The Emergency Committee in Al-Fara'a refugee camp in the occupied West Bank confirmed on Tuesday morning that 1/3 of the camp's residents have been forcibly displaced under armed threats. Israeli forces continue military operations inside the camp, denying claims of withdrawal while redeploying in the area. The committee reported widespread destruction of infrastructure, ongoing home demolitions, and restrictions on humanitarian aid, with Israeli forces blocking the entry of supplies and preventing ambulance crews from reaching those in need. Israeli forces launched raids in various parts of the occupied West Bank at dawn on Tuesday, carrying out arrests of several Palestinians. According to local Palestinian sources, Israeli troops stormed Al-Birah and arrested 8 Palestinians. They also raided a residential building on Al-Tel Street in Nablus and entered Baytuniya Al-Jalazon refugee camp in Ramallah and Bidiya west of Salfit. Additionally, in the south of Tubas, Israeli forces raided the town of Tamun, arresting a Palestinian after storming his home. And the Palestinian resistance factions launched attacks on Israeli forces in Nur al-Shams camp in Tulkarem. The Al-Qassam brigades reported an ambush causing casualties, while fighters from multiple groups targeted an Israeli unit in a fortified house, inflicting direct hits. Algerian Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Mr. Ahmed Attaf, met with Tunisian Foreign Minister Mohamed Ali Nafti in Addis Ababa to discuss developments related to the Palestinian cause. According to a statement from the Algerian Foreign Ministry, the two ministers exchanged views on various issues set to be discussed at the African Union Executive Council meeting. They also addressed the latest developments concerning Palestine in preparation for an upcoming emergency Arab summit on the matter. Israeli forces fired a barrage of bullets at a group of civilians in the town of Hadaysa, southern Lebanon. Lebanese media sources confirmed on Tuesday that Israeli forces stationed outside or on the outskirts of Hadaysa opened fire on residents, adding that Israel continues to violate the previously declared ceasefire agreement. On Tuesday, Algerian Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf met with Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, to discuss efforts to enhance regional integration and cooperation. A statement from the Algerian Foreign Ministry said the two ministers held bilateral talks ahead of the African Union Executive Council meeting. The statement added that both officials exchanged perspectives on regional developments and key issues on the Council's agenda. Algerian Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf also held talks with his Tunisian counterpart Mohamed Ali Nafti in Addis Ababa on Tuesday evening. A statement from the Algerian ministry indicated that two officials reviewed the bilateral agenda and explored ways to optimize its implementation to achieve greater cooperation and integration between the two nations. Algerian Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf held bilateral discussions with Somalia's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Ali Mohammed Omar, on Tuesday in Addis Ababa. According to a statement from the Algerian Foreign Ministry, the talks held ahead of Attaf's participation in the African Union Executive Council provided an opportunity to exchange views on key issues on the Council's agenda and explore ways to strengthen Algerian-Somali relations. The statement added that both sides emphasized the importance of both or continued coordination during their non-permanent membership at the UN Security Council. General Said Shingriha, Minister Delegate to the Minister of National Defense, Chief of People's National Army Staff, attended a meeting of defense ministers in India on the 7th day of his official visit. According to a statement from the Algerian Ministry of Defense, Army General Shingriha delivered a speech at the meeting in which he thanked the Indian authorities for the invitation and commended India's commitment to strengthening relations with its partners and allies.
This meeting, which addresses a topic of utmost importance, reflects India's true will to strengthen its relations with its friends and partners. It is also an opportunity for dialogue and exchange of views and forward-looking visions on issues relating to global security.
And in his speech, General Shingriha emphasized that the security challenges facing the world necessitate enhanced multilateral cooperation and collective efforts to build a safer, more stable and prosperous world.
I am convinced that the security challenges besetting the world today require us to strengthen multilateral cooperation and joint efforts to contribute to establishing the values of peace and sustainable development and to building a safer, more stable and more prosperous world.
The head of Libya's High Council of State, Mohammed Takala, stated that his country needs unity and wisdom to achieve national reconciliation, free from political quotas and personal interests. Speaking at a dialogue symposium on the political committee's proposal to resolve Libya's crisis, Takala stressed that ending the transitional phase depends on national consensus and adopting a democratic process based on a constitutional framework that fulfills the aspirations of all Libyans.
ومن هذا المنطلق From this standpoint, our proposal came realizing that any solution must be purely Libyan, based on national consensus, subject to a constitutional context that guarantees the integrity of the political path and puts an end to the transitional stages.
And last in our news, African Union officials on Tuesday described the war in Sudan as the world's worst humanitarian crisis, warning of its severe humanitarian consequences. Mohamed Bshambas, the chair of an AU committee on Sudan, stated on X that the war has obstructed humanitarian aid, caused food shortages and exacerbated hunger. He added that women and children continue to suffer from violations, while the elderly and sick lack medical assistance, stressing that Sudan is experiencing the worst humanitarian crisis globally. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for tonight's program. Thanks for watching and have a great night.